This is the Goalie Kid. It's a fictional hockey podcast about an 18-year-old goalie trying to find his way in life. Along the way, him and his friends learn about business, life, and what they want out of life. Chapter 5. On Friday morning, Benny was finishing up his AP Art History exam. It would be the last final exam of his high school career. Benny was hurrying to answer all the questions. Fortunately for him, he had just finished the written portion of the exam and only had a few multiple choice questions left. 2 minutes left, yelled the teacher. Benny had just 3 more questions to answer, but he had to read each one of them carefully. He was able to answer 2 of them in under a minute. The teacher then yelled again, 1 minute left. Benny then had to decide between B or C. He was able to fill in C at the last minute. Time, that's time. Benny handed his test in and then dashed off to find Jenny. She was at her father's hardware store. Jenny had already finished her final exams. Once Benny arrived at the store, he walked in and found Jenny finishing up with a customer. That will be $48.47. Would you like a bag for that? Sure, said the customer. Once Jenny finished up with the customer, Benny went up to the counter. How are finals? Asked Jenny. Okay. I almost didn't answer the last question on my AP History final, but I managed to fill in the bubble for the last question. That's good. So, how's business? Not too bad. Our sales are slightly up from last month. That's great. Benny looked out the window for a second. So, I have a question I want to ask you. Do you want to go to prom with me? I was wondering when you were going to ask. Well, I'm asking. The answer is yes. Great. I have to run and take care of a few things. No problem. I have to finish up my shift here. Benny went home that night and prepared for his prom. Prom was in 1 week, and he had no time to waste. Unfortunately, he didn't have enough money to rent a tuxedo. He needed to make an extra $150 in 1 week. He was unsure how to begin, but he was determined to find a way. 2 hours later, the Jensens would have dinner. Dinner would be chicken, rice, and broccoli. Everybody, I have good news, said Benny. What's that? Asked Scott. I asked Jenny to prom, and she said yes. Benny, that's wonderful, said his mother. That's good to hear, said Mr. Jensen. Do you have enough money for a tuxedo? No. I was wondering if I could do some work in exchange for the money. Sorry, Benny. It's the busy season, and I don't have work for you to do. Mr. Jensen paused for a moment. I've got it. Some of the neighbors do need some yard work done. Why don't you ask them? That's a great idea. Thanks, Dad. Any time, son. Benny began the next day by going around the neighborhood, knocking on doors, asking if people needed anything. He started from the cul-de-sac and would make his way through the neighborhood. He would receive many rejections. But once he got to the townhomes, things began to change. Some of the residents began to take interest. Once he got to a townhome on the corner of the block, his luck changed. Benny walked up to the door and rang the doorbell. A middle-aged man came to the front door and opened it. "Hello, sir. My name is Benny Jensen. I live up the road. I'm offering to do some yard work." "What kind of work?" asked the middle-aged man. "You know, raking leaves, chopping wood, mowing lawns." "Well, you can mow my lawn. How about you swing by tomorrow and I'll give you $20 to mow my front and backyard." "Deal," said Benny. "I'll bring my mower tomorrow. It's nothing fancy, but it'll get the job done." "That's all right. Be here tomorrow at 8 a.m. sharp. By the way, my name is John." "Will do, John." Benny would arrive back the next day with his lawnmower. He walked up to the door and rang the doorbell. John was right there at the door once he heard it. "Good morning, Benny. It's good to see you again. Ready to begin?" "Yes, sir." "Well, this job isn't too fancy. Just mow the front yard, backyard, and both side yards. Understood?" "I understand." Benny wasted no time getting to work. The first part of the job was easy, as the side yards were not that big. But once he finished the side yards, the backyard would prove to be a difficult challenge. He would begin mowing the backyard and save the bushes for last. Once he finished the backyard, he began to move around the bushes. Unfortunately, his mower got caught in the soil. Once he cleared the soil, he finished the rest of the backyard and the front yard. John came out to check on Benny. "Are you done?" asked John. "Yes, sir." "I noticed that you struggled when you did the backyard," said John, handing him the money. "Yes, I'm not that experienced with the lawnmower." "Well, don't worry. You can mow my lawn once a week from now on if you like." "Thank you, sir. I'll see what my schedule looks like." "By the way, why did you take up lawn mowing?" "I'm trying to make enough money to rent a tux." "Oh, I know the perfect thing. I have a dog. If you can walk my dog for 30 minutes a day for 5 days in a row, I'll give you $30 per day. That will be $150. I have been busy with my work and I need to be online during certain hours. What do you say?" "I say we have a deal. That will be just enough to rent the tux." "Okay, be here on Monday at 8 a.m. "Will do, John." On Monday, Benny would arrive back at John's house to walk his dog. It was 8 a.m. and John was outside watering his lawn. "Benny, good morning. How are you?" "I'm doing great, John. Is your dog ready?" "Yes, he is." John then went back to his backyard where his dog Murray was playing. Murray was a 4-year-old dachshund. John then got him on the leash. "Okay, Benny, this is Murray. Here is his leash, plastic bag, harness, and rubber gloves in case he has to go. Any questions?" "No, I think I'm good. How far do you want me to walk him?" "Just walk him down 4 blocks that way, then come back and go around the circle." Benny then took Murray. Murray started to walk quickly, running along the sidewalk. Benny barely broke his stride as he was walking quickly. By the end of the 4th block, Murray had to go. When Benny went to pick up Murray's poop, he felt a little uncomfortable. But once he put it in the plastic bag, he found a trash can and threw it away. 10 minutes later, he finished up the walk and would bring Murray back. "How was the walk?" asked John. "Not too bad. It was okay. Do you mind if I use your bathroom?" "I just need to wash my hands." "Not at all. It's the first door on the right." Benny would wash his hands thoroughly and say his goodbyes to John. Over the next 4 days, Benny would make another $120. While he wasn't passionate about walking Murray, it was a good start to earning money. And once the week was over, he had enough to rent the tuxedo for the prom. He had 1 week before next Friday night. Benny would continue to train and prepare for minor league hockey. He was now prepared for the coming weeks, and he couldn't wait for prom. Part 2. Prom Night. It was prom night for Bork Academy. Benny and Jenny were going to prom with Johnny and Danielle. The prom was at the Belvedere Hotel in Denver. It was the fanciest hotel in the city, and the 4 of them planned to live it up as if they were royalty. Danielle was a tall, red-headed girl. She had known Johnny for almost 7 years and knew Benny for 6. Danielle was also a very good friend of Jenny's. She was wearing a sparkling gold dress for prom. "I am so excited," said Danielle. "Me too," said Johnny. "Are you ready for the night, Benny?" "Oh, you bet I am." The 4 of them entered the hotel and made their way to the ballroom. In the ballroom, the band was already playing. The 4 of them caught up with their classmates and soon began to dance. The 4 of them would finish up the night by having one more dance, and then they would head off to the diner. At the diner, they ordered pancakes, eggs, and other breakfast food. Benny, Johnny, Jenny, and Danielle would be at the diner for hours. Everything was looking up for them. The 4 of them felt optimistic about the future, and they felt as if they were walking on cloud 9. 1 week after prom, Durango would be holding tryouts for newcomers. And Benny would do everything he could to earn a spot. He went down to his basement and would train with 2 tennis balls. "Hey, Benny," said his father. "Do you want to head over to the ice rink later?" "Yeah, I would like that." "I know you are getting ready for the Durango tryouts. Listen, I'm sorry that I've been busy lately, but keeping the lights on is not so simple. I hope that when you are fully grown, you understand the importance of money." Benny stopped and then faced him. "Thanks, Dad. Listen, I want this to go well for me." "And I want this to go well for you too. But what if you don't go pro? Do you have a backup plan?" "Well, if I don't, I will just go to college and major in finance or marketing." "Well, that may be all and good, but I don't want you taking out student loans. We may be rich when you factor in most of the country, but you have to recognize that it can be gone in an instant." "I understand." "All right, get your gear. I'll drop you and your brother off and pick you 2 up later." Benny then got his gear out of the back room, grabbed some extra clothes, and took it to the car. His father and brother were waiting in the car. "All right, do you both have your wallets?" "Yes," said Benny and Scott. Mr. Jensen then dropped them off at the rink. The 2 of them signed in and went into the locker room to change. Once they got on the ice, they warmed up. Later, some of the other guys on the ice decided to have a scrimmage. Naturally, Benny and Scott joined in. "All right, you two. You ready to lose?" said one of the older guys. "Not in your dreams," said Scott. Benny and Scott began the scrimmage. There were only 7 skaters and 1 other goalie, so it became a scrimmage of 4-on-4. Scott took the puck down the ice and scored on an easy breakaway. The next play, the other guys would get the puck and give it everything they had. But it was no use. Benny caught and blocked anything that came his way. The next face-off came. The other guys came charging hard, with one defenseman hustling back, managing to face them. Take 'em wide, shouted Benny. Fortunately for him, the shot taken was slow and he was able to handle it, stop the action, and drink some water. The session ended. Not a single shot got past Benny. "Hey man, I couldn't get a single puck past you," said one of the older guys. "How did you do that?" "It was my training. I've been playing for over a decade." "Well, with that, I would expect that you would go pro." "Yeah, I'm trying out for the minor leagues after I graduate high school." "Oh man, you're young. You're gonna go far, kid." "Thanks." "Well, good luck." Benny's confidence grew from that moment. He always believed that he would make it to the pros, and that day might have been the evidence he needed. Hey everyone, thank you for listening to this episode of The Goalie Kid. Please subscribe to this podcast on Apple, Google, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Also, please be sure to give this a 5-star rating on iTunes. Thank you very much, and have a good day.